And welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live here Friday, March 21st, and the third hour. It's time for What Just Happened. Still coming to you, not from a camp, which is great, but that could be heading our way. Joining us now, people who've been on before, and they're back. Andrea Jones-Rooy, a scientist, stand-up comic, circus performer, host of Behind the Data, and other things I'm not aware of. Andrea, how are you, my friend?
I am hanging in there, Dean. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
All
Now we
right.
have Reem Eden, my friend, a Rocky American comic, content creator, award-winning writer, actress based in LA, but traveling hotel after hotel where she is now, and national headliner. Reem, nice to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm excited to be back.
And Scott Blakeman is back. Who booked him? He's my buddy. He's made 100 TV appearances, one of Topical Comics. We co-founded Stand Up for Peace, which went exactly as we had hoped. Thank you, Scott. We really worked that one out. And he has a podcast, Getting Through This with Tom and Scott. Scott, how are you? Happy late birthday. I know.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dean. I'll accept it. I'm doing a whole year celebration this year. So
wow.
Welcome. Yeah. Why limit? So it's great to be back. And during these times, it's cathartic and fun just to get to speak our mind, which, as you say, might be only till like next week. So
right, you can't
try to enjoy it while we can.
I just mentioned you can't mention Tesla, El Salvador, the Alien Enemies Act. That's a whole list of things that was sent by the Trump administration. What's going to be said? So let me start with a general thing. Like, how are you feeling about America? Reem, let me start with you because your family's from Iraq. Is there a Saddam Hussein vibe going on right now? Like, what are you getting?
I thought you were going to say we're going to start with you based on your skin tone, because I'm the most in fear of us all. Yeah, this is starting to feel like a dictatorship. I'm not going to lie. This is like there's a lot of red tape everywhere. It's starting to. I thought we like escaped Iraq to come to the free land, and honestly, I'm going back in a couple weeks to see if it's better.
Are you going back?
Yeah, I'm going to go visit. I am. Yeah, during Coachella of all time, so you know it's important.
Coachella, you usually go to Coachella, don't you?
I do usually go to Coachella, but this time I'm going to Baghdad instead.
Is there a group there that's playing? Is that why you're going? Like you touring? Is there same outfits? It's a desert, right? So
you imagine, yeah, if I was just DJ hopping to Baghdad, no, I'm just gonna go see some family. But yeah, even my family over there is asking me about how things are, and for the first time, like I don't know how to respond. For the first time, it feels like things might be calmer over there than in the United States. So it's a bizarre situation.
How hard would it be for me to get a visa? Could I go?
Yeah, you could. There are white people there. We've allowed them in. Yeah.
And Andrea would be changing, and she is the whitest. So,
I am the whitest. I'm getting a sunburn just thinking about Baghdad. That's the main risk for me in Baghdad is the sun. But yeah,
Andrea puts on some. You put screener on just for the internal lights, right? I mean, that's what you have to do because.
Yeah, no, I have SPF 200 because of my ring light right here.
Yeah. So Andrea, like you're a scientist, you're a comedian, you're a data person. Right. Well, how are you feeling about America right now? Just like the big picture.
Bad, Dean. I'm feeling bad. This is not a scientific take, but kind of like Reem was saying about Iraq. So I lived in China for 3 years, and I'm often nostalgic for my time in China, and it's feeling more and more like that time. Without the benefit of, at least in China, because they crack down on crime so much, like there's no theft. Like I could leave my laptop on the subway and I would get it the next day. So we're not there yet as far as like police state, but otherwise, I'm sort of really enjoying not being able to say what's on my mind and being told what to talk about and just not having to worry about a future election. It's all very China 2016.
For me, I'm nostalgic about New Jersey right now because I'm like, Jersey, I had a lot of freedoms. No one busted your chops. Like, hey, get off my lawn. That was the biggest thing. Now, but by the way, I really think I'm going to end every broadcast now with a line from the Titanic from the band leader. It's been a privilege playing with you tonight, knowing that the iceberg is coming. Like, that's it. So Scott, where do you come down? You've seen a lot of politics. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, the one silver lining, it is spring, and I can't believe the year is flying by, which happens when your country's taken over by a fascist authoritarian regime. But no, this is really, and you know me, Dean, I'm an optimist. I'm always, but this, and I'm, trying to do political comedy. This is really by far the worst it's ever been in my lifetime. And, the people who study authoritarian regimes have said just recently that what Trump has done in 2 months is way more than Erdogan in Turkey, Orban in Hungary. It takes years to do this. They've done it in 2 months. And, it's really incredible. And I'm almost nostalgic for the first horrible Trump term where, of course, he had the horrible Muslim ban, but for the most part, he was unable to get through things. And he had normal bad people in positions of power to block him. And now, it's just, it's really horrifying because that it could happen this quickly, and we need to, maybe in the past people have been a little too, oh, everything's horrible like 10 years ago. I mean, there've been bad things and bad presidents, right, but this really is unprecedented in so many ways, what he's doing with judges and everything. And but we can't leave. We just have to be vigilant and fight it.
Scott, the whole time you were describing that, I felt like I needed to put a seatbelt on or something. I had this strange feeling.
I know. And again, just quickly, I'm doing the show Sunday, my first sort of, because 8 years really, people said to me, don't talk about Trump, don't do that, even when he wasn't president. So I'm doing the show in a little theater on the Upper West Side. I'm calling it If Not Now, When. It's a quote from Hillel. And it's really, I don't really know how to approach it, because on the one hand, you want to talk about what's going on, but how do you do it without depressing everyone more than they already are? So that's the challenge, but we have to try.
By the way, I have to do a break every eight minutes. This brought to you by Tesla. If you're going to buy a car made by a Nazi, make it a Tesla. That's right. So,
you hear explosions in the background.
Reem, we've seen the Tesla protests, and I'm like, what does this country come to that an apartheid-loving, Nazi-saluting businessman who bankrolled a terrorist into the White House, who makes crappy cars that explode on their own and are getting recalled, can't live in peace? I mean, Reem, what has happened? We're talking about us, but let's talk about Elon Musk, because he deserves a hug. He's been through a lot. Have you seen him? I mean, his brain is buffering at all times. Reem, what do you think about the Tesla protests, and how's that going to end?
You forgot to say that he has autism. So there's that little asterisk where none of this is real. How do I think
it's all fake?
Yeah, well, I feel like everyone's giving him that excuse with like the whole Nazi salute and everything wrong that he does. Everyone's like, well, he has a condition. Right. It's selective, but he has it.
He does. I think Hitler had it too. So exactly.
I don't know what's going to happen with this whole Tesla recall. I mean, I'm happy with the protests. I'm happy we're doing something about it. But the fact that people who are protesting are being threatened, like I thought the right to peaceful protest was a right that we had in the United States. So it just feels like everything is trickling away. Everything that makes us American is going away. And I'm finding out about it on Twitter, which is the craziest part of it all.
That's how you're learning about it. Well, Andrea, I mean, look, you are a social scientist. You've seen science data, which are both banned, by the way. I'm not sure if Trump just signed the executive order banning science and data
out of work.
And facts. So I wonder, I'll give you options here. I hear a lot from callers in my show and emails. The three common scenarios I have for how this ends with Trump. One is Nuremberg trials, which was after World War II and the Nazis were tried and some were executed. Two, French Revolution. Three, we're in a camp. So those are sort of the thing here. And I should say, as an aside, I never got the guillotine thing, the French Revolution, didn't get it. Then I saw Elon Musk. I'm like, oh, I get it. So these are the kind of things. I'm not advocating. I'm just saying I get where people get so angry that they're like, the only thing we can do is take their head. And I'm like, okay. So how do you think this ends? If I was giving those three, French Revolution, Nuremberg trials, us in a camp.
I think it's actually all of the above, Dean.
Wow.
The order,
that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I think
what's the order?
Is they're going to put us all in a camp, or they're going to try, and then we're going to have a French Revolution and off with some heads, and then maybe some kind of Nuremberg trial, get the ICC involved to as a way of us saying, sorry, rest of the world, we want to be back in part of you again. And so it'll be more performative, the trials by the end, but that's my prediction. Like
in Batman, the Batman movie, where it's like the People's Trust, was it Cillian? What's his name? The Oscar-winning Irish actor who was like the judge. Cillian Murphy, is that his name? How do you pronounce it?
Yeah.
And he played the judge, and he's like, okay. And they're like, and we put them on ice, and they have to walk onto an ice thing. The Hudson River, we freeze it, and they have to walk out.
Maybe we'll even get him to be the judge. I think it would be befitting of a reality TV former president. Who will, be the judge? By the way, Trump is going to die from a Diet Coke-induced heart attack any day now, but fortunately, the chaos is already in process.
Can we pause for a moment and reflect on that?
Let's reflect.
Okay, thank you.
Again, I want to put a little optimism. First of all, I think they're going to self-destruct because, look, they've been playing this for years.
Like an Elon Musk rocket? Like
Project 2025, and they've, and all Trump does is hold up the thing. That's all he's capable of doing, holding up the thing. I signed this, But I really do think that, look, someday it could be worse, but I think that, first of all, Musk is going to self-destruct. There's already internal dissension in the White House about Musk. Steve Bannon, another hateful person, doesn't like Musk. So I think he's going to won't be around after the summer. I mean, I think somehow he's going to step aside. Now, I mean, the damage is done and they'll find other people. And I have to say, I've always spent my time saying, you know what, let's talk about the issues. Let's not make it about personality. But these people, to a man and a woman are really the worst people on the face of the earth. Not policy. I'm not talking about. I disagree with that economics bill. I mean, Stephen Miller and the press secretary. I mean, I was figuring out what they are is the exact opposite of my cat.
Yeah,
your cat's what?
Meowing a little while ago because she's kind, sweet, and much smarter than they are collectively.
Right.
So that's
does your cat have a name? What's your cat's name?
Oh, Olympia, yes.
Oh, I thought it was like AOC would have been.
Should
have named it AOC would have been better. Like very liberal cat. My cat is.
Well, she is
my cat
already.
Medicare for all. Really?
Yes,
your cat's called Medicare for all. Yeah.
But it's
nice.
but and what's happening is I saw a headline in the Financial Times. Trump is making Europe great again.
Okay.
And we're going to become this really puny country with a brain drain. And Reem, it's true, more people will be going to Iraq and to all other places. As a Jew, I would much more quickly go to Germany and Poland than I would to Israel. So we're going to lose. Well, as you know, we're already losing scientists, cutting research funds. And this has nothing to do with money or efficiency. In fact, the most efficient things are what they're cutting, with National Institute of Health or the Parks Department, or there's an Institute of Museums and Libraries. They're cutting that because, that's where there's a lot of fraud, And I just think that we have to just keep at them because they're weak people. All they do when you ask the press secretary, she just, flips out. And so we have the facts on our side and we're right. So I think that hopefully
I've heard a lot of the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. I call blonde Goebbels, but other people have better nicknames. They call her, what is the other one? Baghdad Barbie is another one. And I'm trying, no offense, Reem, call her Baghdad Barbie.
I thought I was Baghdad Barbie, but that's fine.
Right, that's right. No, I'm like, this is Reem's stage name. She goes on, please give it up for Baghdad Barbie. Here she is. So we're talking about Reem Eden, Scott Blakeman, Andrea Jones-Rooy in a series called The End of America. And like, I don't know how this is going to go down. I really, in my heart of hearts, it's like White Lotus. Like, I'm not sure, but I think for some of the main characters, they're not going to survive. Like, so I think, like, looking at this, I'm like, and I've only watched the first 3 episodes of White Lotus. So don't tell me if anyone's dead already, but something bad's happening. I know there's already male nudity. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to have any more discussion. Nothing in the White House, I hope, is involving that. But so Bill Burr's got a theory, and I like Bill. When I was a stand-up in New York, I mean, I'm still arguably stand-up in New York when I was full-time. Bill was here. He was known as Billy Burr, first of all, not Bill. Then he became an adult. He's Bill. But he has a theory, and I like Bill because Bill, I had many conversations about politics over the years with Bill when we were at the Cellar together. He's certainly center-left. He's not way out there, but he's also a common sense guy. Like common sense, he won't be dogmatically left on an issue where he goes, nope, common sense doesn't let me go there. So I always liked that about Bill. But he had a theory. He was on The View, and he said, the nerds that own the politicians, all these tech nerds that want to build robots because they don't know how to talk to hot women, they're going to take over the world. They're literally going to replace us. We're like Beta, and they're coming out with the VCR. So Bill's view is that Elon Musk, because he does not know how to talk to hot women, that's the reason they're taking over the world. They became more incel, perhaps, spending all their time building rockets. I mean, Elon's had a lot of children, though. I don't know if he can talk to them. He's the richest person in the world. Andrea, look, as a social scientist and as a circus performer, what do you think? Is this what it is? It's a lack of ability to talk to hot women?
So he may have an inability to talk to hot women. I think he has an inability to talk to women full stop. I think he doesn't see women as full people. But I object to, I think Bill is great. I think he should run for president. Let's do it. But I object to his use of the word nerds. I don't think Elon Musk is a nerd. Elon Musk is a very bad person. And he has some social skills issues and we can put autism in there. But I think he's also just mean and evil. But I don't think he's a nerd. I don't think that he's the, computer programming genius, mathematician, deep down, like obsessed with like technology. I think he's obsessed with power. And I think he read some sci-fi. And so he wants to invest in things like SpaceX and self-driving cars. But I don't think he's a nerd. I think he wants to be a nerd. But I would say that the nerds don't have the power. I would say that cosplaying tech bros have power.
So the tech bros. What do you think, Reem? Do nerds have power? Is it because of their inability to connect with women, hot women in particular? Is that fueling some of this? That's what Bill says.
I mean, I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know if it's the nerds. I don't know if it's white supremacists. I don't know if I'm allowed to think for myself anymore in the United States or talk about what I feel.
Let me see what Trump posted. You can still think for the next 12 minutes. Go right ahead.
Not out loud. Not out loud.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's funny when we talk about like, oh, robots are replacing our jobs and stuff like that. I feel like the nerds are replacing us with robots. The robots are out there doing their things. I was at the airport last night and there was a janitorial robot, like a Roomba, a commercial Roomba. And I was like, they're even replacing the janitor job. So pretty soon here, the nerds are going to take over every aspect of our life and, you know, ability to have an opinion on anything.
If I could pick robots to replace things in my life, there are probably some things I would love robots to do, but I can't, like, not my, look, if they're going to have a robot that can do this, what I do, which isn't that hard. I think they're not hard. We're not far from a robot that can host the Dean Obeidallah show, because I'm like baseline of like mental thought. So I can't believe there's not already AI that can eclipse me in a second.
If it makes you feel any better, Dean, I like talking to you much better than talking to ChatGPT. I find ChatGPT patronizing and condescending.
Really?
Yeah.
And also, I'm more factually correct, because I am self-aware. I don't want to lie. ChatGPT is a liar.
Oh,
it's just an enjoys lying.
I'm in an open AI relationship with ChatGPT.
But the problem is ChatGPT will lie to your face in a confident way. That's what you want. This is what you're looking for. There's something deeper going on, Reem. And if you call out ChatGPT, it'll be like, okay, I'm sorry, that was a mistake. You've got to catch ChatGPT in your life. It's like the worst person you've ever dated. But at least it admits it doesn't continue to lie. Like, it wasn't like a Shaggy, it wasn't me, type of thing. Like, I'm like, it was you, right? And Chat's like, you got me. I was lying. I don't know why. But lawyers have gotten caught citing brief. ChatGPT has literally made up names of cases that don't exist. And lawyers have put them in their briefs and got in trouble in courts now for getting their, like, ChatGPT gave it to me. ChatGPT literally made up case names. That's how devious it is. Scott, are you a fan of ChatGPT? Have you used it?
No, not really. No, I mean, I tried for like a logo or something like that, but I just want to get back to the issue. I don't think is someone being a nerd or whatever. They're really, they talk about Trump derangement syndrome, and some idiots in Minnesota and the state legislature want to make that classified as mental illness, but the truth is they're deranged. Whether they're nerdy or not, they are liars. I mean, talk about ChatGPT. I mean, these are actual liars. They're the worst kind of people to have. And I don't say that lightly. And again, it's not because, I disagree on an issue. I mean, they're down to and what they're doing is, you could spend hours talking about this. I mean, Elon Musk, the real danger right now as we speak, he's invited to a meeting at the Pentagon, and they're denying this, but it's essentially
he's there.
A lot about China. And he's going to be getting military. See, it's all about how we plan for war with China. And he's so in the pocket of China. And he's the one hearing this. So on so many levels. And again, the fact that not one Republican who's still in Congress has any, people, sir, have you no decency from, the McCarthy hearings? They have none. And Marco Rubio, all these people. Now, one shredder, principal. I mean, why don't you just show principal and work in the private sector and make 10 times the amount of money? And that's what I'm hoping that you're going to find as these town halls go on, which I've been binging lately. That's my only way I stay happy. The Republicans.
They're fun.
If they keep going,
should I be watching?
They may need to stand up to Trump Republicans because they're afraid of losing, not primary, but losing a general election.
They were chanting to deport Elon Musk at the one in Wyoming. And there are no Democrats in Wyoming. Yeah. These were Republicans who were chanting because look, as Americans, there is, I think, something inherently rebellious, all of us, towards the wealthiest billionaires. If they're helping you, it's one thing. If they're like, and that's why a lot of them give a lot of money away, and they're like, I don't want this either. I'm uncomfortable with all this money, but not Musk. He does almost no charity work. It's kind of remarkable, right? Everything's about him. So he's gleeful and taking away benefits from veterans. And they're going to lay off 80,000 workers at the Veterans Affairs. They've already laid people off. They're cutting $23 billion in funding. Their new funding bill, $23 billion, we're cutting veterans care. That leans right a lot. That's a lot of people who are upset. This is very real, and they don't get it. And you piss off veterans, so they have military training. Like, I'm not sure you want to do that. I mean, it's not one car at Tesla dealership. It's the dealership goes up. And I hope no one gets hurt, but we're human beings. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you're going to hurt this many people, and a lot of them are veterans and even non-veterans and their family, you're going to lay people off. You're going to gut programs. You're going to come after Medicaid, and you're going to purge people from Social Security, which they're doing, and not expect a backlash when you're affecting that many Americans. It's kind of foolish. I mean, Andrea, I don't want violence. I mean, I say that because I want to keep the show. Right. So I just want to say, like, I'm against violence. It would make it clear. We should have a thing running. Dean Obeidallah denounces violence all the time. And then from there's like, and then like, but like this long but. What? Did he just say but? But I'm just saying, no, I am against political violence. But oops, there I did it. No, I am against political violence. Period. Stop. But human beings are human beings. Let's put it that way, right? I mean, you've got to expect something. When you're going to screw people over at this level, there's going to be a backlash. That's the truth.
I mean, one of the things I don't know enough about is the speed with which, I know we're all about government efficiency now, but the speed with which people are going to feel the consequences. So of course, if you work for USAID or you work for the Department of Ed and you're being laid off right now, and you and your family are experiencing that right now. Things like, oh, we're no longer investing in protections against malaria. That's not going to really play a big role, and we're not going to hear about it for maybe months and months, if even then that soon. And then different cuts around, again, the Department of Education, that like this program, we're not going to have data in 2 years about math scores, and then we're not going to have this. And so I worry our Social Security checks are going to be delayed. I worry that the effects will be spread out enough that there won't be a big moment for people to take to the streets. And, you know, an example that comes to mind is, George Floyd in 2020. That was a specific moment that galvanized people. And here I worry that the pain is serious, but happening every day and piecemeal and trickling out. And we may not have a single moment where there's more protests happening now than there were in early Trump administration the first time, but they're more spread out and they're over different days. We're not having big, giant moments. And so apart from, cyber trucks getting attacked, I don't know. We need a focal point is what I'm trying to say. So if you wanted to start it or something.
Well, can I give one?
Didn't want to start.
Just one quick example, which isn't even from Musk, or it was a Republican Congress. And I know it's a whole other issue whether Schumer should have stood up to. I think there's arguments on both sides, shutting government down, if that would have been a good thing or not. But one thing he did get out of it, and it's up to the House next week, they were going to, some inexplicable reason, strip Washington, D.C. of $1.1 billion because they were applying spending levels from 2024 instead of this year. That would have had immediate cuts. And it's up to the House next week to hopefully reinstate that also. But I don't know. I think that, well, as you said, Andrea, people have been laid off. But I mean, the education stuff and grants and all that, they claim that they're just moving it to another department to people who have no idea how to administer it. So I think the pain will be, and also they want to go after Medicaid. That's stated, certainly Social Security. So I just think, again, earlier on, I mentioned that most horrible dictators take years to do all this stuff that he's done in 2 months. So maybe that will trip them up because there is so much, and the cumulative effect in such a short amount of time, enough will get out that people will be up in arms. And the Republicans in Congress, that could be the key there, where they start backing away and saying, this is too much, I'm going to lose. And I think that may be happening sooner than we think.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the midterms next year, but there are 2 special elections, April 1st for Congress in Florida, just the candidates on this week. So we hope that can send a message. All right, let's take a break and come back and talk about that. We've done the unbelievable in America. We've pissed off Canada. They're the nicest people. Like they get mad. They'll still give you a donut and a Tim Hortons coffee, but we've got them really angry right now at us. And Trump has, I haven't. Like, I love the Canadians. I've toured Canada. They're good people. They laugh a lot. They're warm. They don't like to curse, but they're like me. All right. So let's take a break. We're going to come back and continue with what just happened right after this. And welcome back. We're back. What just happened? Andrea Jones-Rooy, Reem Eden, and Scott Blakeman. No one was been escorted away by ICE agents in masks. So that was a good break we had there. So look, Canada is punching back. First of all, for a while now, our national anthem, the U.S. national anthem, has been booed at Canadian events. But Canadian lawmaker Charlie Angus yesterday slammed Trump for the tariffs and how they're treating people visiting our country, and said call for Canada to continue boycotting products and coming here. And so it's been ongoing. I didn't know they've been actually boycotting coming to America. And then he said about Trump, Canada will never kiss that gangster's ring. I'm like, okay, I like this. When the Canadians are mad now, even in his anger, he was like nice. Like, it wasn't like a Jersey kind of angry where things are breaking and there's a baseball bat involved and there's threats of violence, even veiled. It was just like, we're not doing this. You're bad. Canada will never kiss that gangster's ring unless he offers the ring in a nice, kind way. And then maybe, well, no, they didn't identify. Reem, have you ever performed in Canada? Have you done Canadian shows?
I've never performed in Canada, but I'm really excited that Canada is punching back. It's fun to watch. I will say though, I'm a little scared to see the White House's Twitter response to this, because I feel like they've been tweeting some crazy things like the deportation ASMR and like all these wild, wild posts. So I'm curious to see how they're going to respond to the whole kiss the gangster's ring comment. They might have like a new Sopranos coming out. I don't know, but I'm waiting to see.
I like it. The Canadians are very nice. I've done a lot of shows up there, and I'm telling you, it takes a lot to anger them. And Trump has unified them. I just read now they're going to increase their military spending. Wait till they start putting troops. I'm concerned. Trump starts saying, "Oh, weapons of mass destruction. Canada has that." Andrea, where do you think we're going in terms of Canada? We're going to be on the border there fighting, and they're going to say that these Canadians are sneaking in maple syrup on planes. We have to stop them. Like, what's going on?
I mean, kind of to what Reem was saying, like it is, if it weren't true, it is entertaining and satisfying to see someone step up against the United States. And it kind of reminds me when I was growing up, my dad is very mild-mannered and it just took a lot to get him angry. But then when he was angry, it was like no nonsense. So I'm ready for Canada to kind of save the day. For the whole world, they're gonna do that. But honestly, we're also at a distinct disadvantage because suppose we like line up on the border, the Canadians can handle the cold just a million times better than we can. Like, yes, we've got Minnesota and North Dakota, like they know what they're doing, but like, what am I gonna do on that border? I can't do anything. Whereas everyone in Canada, they're used to that. So we just have a distinct, it's like trying to invade Russia. Like you can't do it. They're gonna win. Cold
and also. By the way, you might not know this because I saw a documentary. The Canadians have these White Walkers and dragons.
Right. Yeah.
I saw that. It was really, I'm pretty sure it was a documentary. It's over like many years, but I'm pretty sure that was the wall. Right, exactly. You saw the same documentary.
Yeah.
Game of something. I'm not sure what it was called. Scott, where do you come down? If we go to war with Canada, what do you do?
Well, I mean, also, all these things that he's saying, let's make it the 51st state. He called Trudeau governor. He keeps repeating it. Now, these things, people say he's serious about this. So forgetting the tariffs for now, I mean, he said, what are those lines? This just means nothing, a country. Yeah, that's why wants Russia, invading Ukraine was fine. They're just lines. So, and Greenland too. I mean, and he's saying, well, the United States wasn't always 50 states. So they're saying this seriously. Not one person said, oh, well, what he means is Canada should get its act. No, he keeps talking about making it 50%, which the only way to do it is to invade. I mean, how else are you going to do it? So and you talk about Trump derangement center again. This is deranged. This is something that I know you've talked about, Dean, a lot. Biden if he does have a form of dementia, it's the kind that I guess people recognize more because even though he had his faculties and he was smart, had smart people, he would stutter or speak slowly or get lost. Trump is the kind of dementia person that Americans rally around because he has energy, and yet he's crazy and a pathological liar, which is the very definition of just insanity. It's mental illness. So, and people take everything serious. I mean, the fact we have to take it seriously is
He's president. We have no choice. When the crazy man says, I'm going to send people to El Salvador for going to Tesla dealerships and doing something inappropriate and put you in a prison over there. I also think it's interesting, like France, which if people know history in America, it was because of the French that we won the Revolutionary War against the British. We were going to lose, but the French came in and Lafayette and Ben Franklin lobbying, and then worked with John. Then they were really close to George Washington. But now France wants the Statue of Liberty back. Like Raphael Glucksmann. I probably said more Frenchy, like retirement, the Klaxman, like something like that. He, from French member of parliament, said that if they don't want the Statue of Liberty, we will take it back because we're not going to say the Americans have chosen. He said the Americans have chosen if they've chosen the side of the tyrants, to the Americans who fired researchers for demanding scientific freedom, give us back the Statue of Liberty. So not give us back the statue. Now, I don't know how this works. Like, is there a return policy? Like, it's from
shipping is what I want to know.
It's from 1886. I would think you can't get it back at this point. Like, what do you think, Andrea? Like, is there a good faith argument? Like, but you gave us this in 1886. You can't come and take it back now.
I mean, if we hadn't just gutted all institutions and rule of law, I would say, is there some kind of contract we could consult? You know, you get a receipt from the grocery store and it says it has to be returned within 6 days, or the clothes have to be returned within 30 days. You know, if there was something written in there that said, look, if you do not keep up the liberté, you have to send this back, then I'm all about,
conditions.
yeah.
Conditions on the green statue that was brought over. That's kind of interesting. Like, but Reem, if this were to work, if you can just demand it back, like my grandmother's land, which is a settlement in the West Bank, I'd like to get that back. And that was only taken like in 1970, 71. Exactly. So I can go over there and go like, hey, they had to give the Statue of Liberty back. You guys have to leave now. And then they'd shoot me and kill me, of course, the settlers, because they're insane. But so I think it's interesting, though, as France, it's not literal. The French are sort of making a statement the world is seeing that what's happening in the United States is not normal. And you don't deserve that Statue of Liberty. That would be like in a comedy movie, like you take it away from them, like a Will Ferrell type of thing. I'm taking this away from you. And like you just grab it, you can't move it. And it's like, well, I'm going to come back and get that later. But you know what I'm talking about, that kind of thing. So what do you think? Where are we in the world where the Canada's attacking us, mocking us, and they're getting their military together? France wants the Statue of Liberty back. I don't know what's next.
Well, I think, and Europe is getting it together. I'm sorry that they're going to raise their defense budgets, because I hope it doesn't affect their social programs. But, you know, at different times in history, with George W. Bush, with Iraq, certainly we were disgraced around the world. I mean, that one decision will reverberate forever. Sure. It was horrible. Reagan, to some extent, certainly there was revulsion. The first term of Trump, it was like, this guy is crazy. But as I said, thankfully, he couldn't get much done. This time, so much has already been, so much damage. I think they're basically saying, we don't need America. We're going to be fine on our own. And even in Germany, when Vance went there and spouted essentially a neo-Nazi line, I mean, that Germany was embarrassed by, and supporting the AfD, the far right group there. So yeah, I mean, we don't deserve the Statue of Liberty. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump will have the Emma Lazarus quote removed, because that doesn't apply. Give us your tired, you're hungry, you need to be free. That you know,
it's gonna. What will he update it to? Give us your white people with money,
or get the hell out of here.
Get out. Yeah.
Give us your models with accents. We'll take those.
That's it. Well, he did say he'd let refugees from South Africa. I mean, Reem, does your family, your dad's an immigrant. I've heard his accent right on the videos and stuff like that. Like, is there any alarm in your family or are they not watching it with the same detail, like every minute by minute, like I am and we are?
You know, I don't know if there's as much alarm. I think it's just we've become a laughing stock. You know, like everyone's kind of just like, what's going on there? And I think that's kind of the worst part, is especially like that esteem that I've held, you know, as an American, and that's just going away. And so it's kind of chipping at my idea of what it is to be American and my pride for it. And so the first Trump presidency, I remember I was touring in Europe at the time, and I was like, oh, you know, it's not real. It's not going to happen. And then it happened. And I felt like people were just laughing at us. So, you know, when I used to travel as a kid, there was like, again, this pride about I'm an American and what that meant. And now every time I go overseas, this is kind of like deteriorating. So that's the saddest part, I think.
Well, I wonder how we're seeing, right? That's it. Go ahead, Andre.
Oh, I was just saying, we can't even do the thing where we pretend to be Canadian, because the Canadians are going to get mad at us. You know, that used to be the go-to. That's over.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I remember during Bush, we'd be like, I'm sorry, if you'd meet people from other countries, like we didn't vote for him and stuff like that. This time, for some reason, it seems harder. I mean, they're delusional in terms of how much support Trump has. Polling shows his numbers are dropping. People think the economy is sliding, and it is sliding. Consumer confidence is down, which is such an indicator of the average person. University of Michigan does this heralded monthly consumer confidence, and it's the lowest in 3 years. It's going to continue to drop. At the minute the tariffs hit in early April, really hit, not just the ones on China, across the board, people are going to see goods across the country go up. And while you have people getting laid off and less government benefits, you couldn't have designed a bad recession more than what Trump is doing. And that is so jarring to me. I'm like, why would you do this? Like, why do you want a recession? And anyone want to guess? I mean, I know the billionaires can make more money. That really happens.
Well, you know what it is? Look at Musk, who's broken everything he's had. Trump has been despite popular opinion, has been a complete, utter business failure in his life. I mean, he started with money from his family and went bankrupt a million times. So, and he's a convicted felon, just on the side. But they want to, there's no rhyme or reason to it, because I said all these cuts come out to like a minuscule amount of federal budget. because they're not touching defense. It's not about that. It's about changing this country in a right-wing way, and whether education, and his assault on higher education isn't just the Department of Education, bribing, kind of with Columbia, $400 million if they don't put their Middle East Studies Department in receivership, and Penn, when my dad was so proud of that, and he would be horrified what they're doing to Penn, because they had one transgender athlete, they're going to lose 175 million. And it's just, they hate higher education because they're morons, but they really want to shift it to this Hillsdale College model. Colleges are not liberal or conservative, they're teachers, and that's what it should be. But they want to make it a right-wing thing. So they want to remake the country, and it's been 2 months. They've gone pretty far, but I just hope that they've undertaken too much, and people are going to just wake up and stop it. But they don't, as you say, right. The economy was fine before. I didn't know this. That horrible Biden. It was fine, and they know they were making it worse. And tariffs, by the way, the only economist in the world who thinks it's a good idea is Howard Lutnick, who's not even an economist. He's the Secretary of Commerce who has been pitching Musk for getting contracts. So it's a horrible idea. And
let me just say, as a graduate of Trump University, you guys don't know what you're talking about. First of all, I went there for 7 years, and they're going to privatize the Trump universities all over. So the only higher education Trump likes are the one that has his name on it, right? If it's got his name and he's profiting over it. So yesterday, Donald Trump signs the executive order to end the Department of Education, which has just been a long time coming. It's a dream of theirs. They're going to need an act of Congress, but they can strangle it for assets. So, Reem, why do you think? What in your heart? Why do you think Trump hates education so much? Like, what is going on here that the right really wants people uneducated wearing MAGA hats?
I have no idea. I was reading the history on it. It seems like something Republicans have wanted to do since the 80s. And I was like, well, maybe it's to appease, some of these Republicans. Why would you want people? Americans are already dumb. Like, why would we want them dumber? No, it makes no sense to me.
I made the mistake of speaking to the one conservative that I know a couple of months ago about this. And he said, well, it's obvious. The Department of Education is the most corrupt department there is. And that was the first I'd heard, and he wasn't able to provide any other information about how corrupt.
He wasn't educated on that, ironically.
Even Hogwarts and Harry Potter have a Department of Education. Like, do they get it and we don't deserve it? I don't understand.
Well, I also think it's interesting, if you get rid of the Department of Education, that's like their baseball bat to force colleges and universities to do things they want. If they stop having those grants and stuff, then they can't do anything. But then you're going to have, like Jimmy Kimmel had some jokes last night about, because it's going to go back to the States. And he's like, well, Florida, you'll get your GED if you can do the maze at the Waffle House on the menu, that kind of stuff. Like, you get a high school diploma. But if you really leave it to the states, what will happen is, in the blue states, they'll get a block grant from the federal government and they'll put it to good use. In the red states, they'll do indoctrination, they'll do religious education, or they'll just use it for private schools and gut public schools and say, okay, we're going to apply this for vouchers. So upper income and rich people can go to these private schools, which they're already going to, but now we're going to give them a tax offset to it, and we can use this money to make up for the offset. It's remarkable. Their hostility towards higher education. I will say this, there is a connection though. While Vice President Harris lost white women, she won white women with a college degree. And while she lost white men, she won white men with a college degree. That's men with a college. Because she lost men badly, but still with a college degree. So there is a connection between higher education, if you're alert, and voting against MAGA and going like, this is not right. And that's part of it, I think. I mean, Scott,
I would say, in addition to that, you do have people who went to really good schools who are horribly, like Duke is embarrassed by Stephen Miller, Harvard, which is a wonderful school, but a lot of these people, went there. So, but what they want to do is gut public education entirely and make it all vouchers. And you know how it works with vouchers? A lot of times wealthy families just put the vouchers so the kids go to fancy schools. So, right. And they claim this is going to be done by the departments, but Pell Grants, special needs kids, disability kids, marginalized kids in general, and they've gutted the Department of Civil Rights. I mean, and one thing has to be said, forget DEI. They are just racist, taking Jackie Robinson, I know they put him back out of his military. So it wasn't because DEI was from the 1940s. It's because they want to get rid of black, and he mentioned it, black people, women, and it's the most blatant thing. It's
So, and that takes us to something that happened last week, which was and Chuck Schumer's been pelted a lot, right? So he's been pummeled to the point where I actually feel bad for him at this point. But where Chuck Schumer made it easier for Donald Trump to pass a budget bill, which was really a power grab. And that's where the media failed at talking about it. It gave Trump and Musk more flexibility in where they're going to take money and how they're going to spend money. So Congress was giving up some of their power. That alone, Chuck Schumer should have never agreed to that. They should have at least taken that out and said, okay, we can live with the other stuff, but we can't have this kind of flexibility where you can spend billions of dollars any way Trump and Musk wants to. That's ridiculous. That part concerned me. There were other parts in that were really bad, but the pressure is building this whole week about Chuck Schumer stepping down as Democratic leader of the Senate. And I have zero problem with that as long as Democrats are going to put in someone better. Because Schumer was fine under Biden. He got in a lot of judicial nominations. He did more than Trump did. So, Andrea, what do you think about Chuck Schumer? Is it time to go, or are us talking about this issue not addressing the bigger issue in the Democratic Party where there's so many corporate Democrats that we don't have enough fighters?
I mean, I do think, Dean, that you're right to point out the broader issue, which is like, and I don't know what leadership we need. I mean, maybe something in the Bernie Sanders world is what we would need, but it's just everything the Democrats have been doing as a kind of resistance. I was thinking about it earlier. It was like we're all acting. We, the Democrats in power, are acting like we're all just still playing soccer. And Trump is just on the soccer field with guns. It's like we can't also do that, but we're not playing the same game. And I don't know what the answer is. Like maybe we just out crazy, but I wouldn't mind a change in leadership, at least just to do something symbolic and shake things up. But I would love for some substance other than holding up paddles and wearing pink or whatever it is that we're doing to resist.
Reem, are we wearing pink? Reem is very fashion conscious. He's very good. We've talked about many times.
I didn't want to embarrass anyone, so I didn't show the cool buttons on my.
Very
anyway,
nice.
I am embarrassed.
This isn't about me.
So Reem, what do you think? I mean, should Democrats have a rule in the time of Trump? Forget seniority, whoever's the most effective communicators and fighters. And it doesn't have, I think AOC is very good, and Jasmine Crockett and others. But the idea, like, this is a special time, and seniority's got to go second because everything was seniority. And we're going to put these people as our fighters, who are the most effective out there as the face of our party, because that'll help define our party. Right now, Democrats, and I don't know who's a Democrat and who's not here, but I'm saying I know we all don't like MAGA, but the Democratic Party is having an identity crisis because the leadership is not representing where the base is. So what do you think, Reem?
100%. I think that we need to switch up the strategy, like treat this like a video game, put your best players forward, because, it feels like to me that the Republicans are out there just doing the most, doing whatever they want to do. And Democrats are still trying to play by the rules that Andre made a great point about the whole soccer gun thing. That's what it feels like. We're just kind of like, what about law and order, ironically? Right. So I think we need to have a huge shift. The voice of the people needs to be heard, because, like looking at all these exit polls or just all these polls in general, people are upset and we feel like the government is not representing us. And those who are out there trying to represent us are not doing a good enough job. So put the loudest and the best people forward.
The problem is that Trump has bypassed Congress completely, and they've acceded to that. And used to be, well, hopefully we can get that bill through. So but I think Schumer is effective, as you said, Dean, behind the scenes. Usually he could stay but we need to elevate the other voices. And I think, like Andrea said, Bernie really is articulating the most important message. I hate these expressions, but like working class and economic issues and things like that. And I think that's, we can't just be against what's going on, which we need to be, but there needs to be a strong message. This is our vision. I wish, like, when we were in power, we could have just been as aggressive as Trump was in a good way. And except we have we care about the rule of law, and you can only do what you can do. So I would like to say, I'd love to us get in front of these buildings when the FBI and Musk and his 19-year-olds and the Capitol Police try to evict these people from the buildings. I think we should be there to block them from doing that, or get some bouncers from some nightclubs.
Reem and Andrea, you guys have to go after the show to be there. Me and Scott are not going. But
I'm ready.
Andrea's like, it's a good point, Andrea. Like, everyone is shot on the field, and we're like, but we just scored.
Yeah.
It's 1-1.
We need a strong defensive strategy. You're like, we're not even playing the same game. Can we just come up with our own department? Like, what are the rules here? Like, oh, only the president can make up a department? No, the other party can make up. I'm going to be the Department of Government Integrity, and now we're going to undo everything. Who can stop us, right?
Would you stop thinking out of the box? Would you stop that? We're going to edit that out. How dare you?
Ice at my door. I gotta go. See ya.
No, but look at the UK. They have the shadow government, right? We should have the Democrats. We've talked about this on my show. People called in a shadow Secretary of State, the shadow. They have foreign minister, different things, and have Democrats have their own hearings. The media is going to come and cover it because it's different. No one's done it. They'll come to at least the first one. They're like, "What's this about? How can you be a shadow foreign minister?" And let the right go ballistic. You can't do this. Blah 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 blah. Like, oh, sorry.
Like, we're playing Alpenball now. Like, we're just making up rules. Like, let's go.
Exactly. I like that very much. So, all right, last thing, and then I'll give everyone a chance to plug things. There was two polls in a row in the last 2 weeks showing the economy is really sliding. Even a Fox News poll, only 39% of Americans said the economy is good. The week before, it's like mid-70s saying it was either not good or not so good. But it depends how you say not so good. Like if I'm from Jersey, like, it's not so good. It's not that bad, right? Because it's an Italian thing. But you know what I'm saying? It's not. But Reem, you're out there. You're traveling right now. Like, what are you seeing? Is there any signs of economic slowdown as you travel the country?
Absolutely. I've been having conversations with Uber drivers around the country. I've been in the Midwest recently, the South, all over, and just talking to them about like how life is for them and like what their living wages are outside of driving or what brought them to driving. And people are struggling. People are upset. And some of these places I've gone to are, very rural, very red. And even in like the blue parts, they're just, they're not able to make ends meet. Their families are suffering. They don't really care so much about the politics, but they just need help. And It's been really eye-opening hearing how much these people, many years my senior are making an hour working at a warehouse or at a factory, and even working at Uber. So it's just, I feel like we're struggling, and you're starting to feel, the heat of the recession coming close.
What about you, Andrea? Anything when you talk to friends, people?
Well, I would first like to just formally endorse Reem for office, whatever you want to run for. You've obviously spoken to the people and have your
Department of Government, fabulous.
Yes, it's you're the shadow president as far as I'm concerned. No, I mean it's brutal. I mean the problem is that the Trump administration ran on an economic ticket. And now that the economy is terrible, all of a sudden everyone says, well, actually, I cared more about, like, Scott, what you were saying earlier. Like, I care more about religion in schools and conservative this and anti-abortion. Like, did you not care about the economy? You're just going to continue to not be able to afford anything? Like, it's just the goals keep moving and there's no reasoning with anyone. It's like, how bad do things have to be before someone says, all right, maybe this isn't in my interest? Like, I just don't know.
I agree. Scott, last quick thing, and then I want everyone to get a chance to plug their stuff.
Yeah, well, I would say, even though it'd be nice if everyone shared our outrage at Trump ignoring judges, deporting people who've done nothing wrong, Mahmoud Khalil must be released. All the people, this is horrendous and people need to know about it. But in the end, it's the bread and butter issues that really change things. And I really do think that, for those, we did great under Trump. Not that they did, but that was their magic. Well, this is real life. It's much worse. The economy is much worse, stock market, all of that.
Yep.
And tons of people are out of work because of them who didn't have to be. So I think that's where it's going to really, hopefully, start making inroads, and everybody will stand up to that.
The stock market's gone down so badly for my IRA that my new calculations, I can't retire until I'm 118. So it's going to be kind of. So Reem, where can people follow your work? Well, I'll give everyone a quick chance to plug their stuff.
Oh yeah, on all the social media, but Instagram is my favorite. At Reem Eden, ReemEdan.
And she has a huge following on Instagram, makes a lot of funny videos. I subscribe as well. Andrea Jones-Rooy, RJR, where can they find you?
Yes, and also endorse Reem's Instagram. I've been following her since the last time we were on this show. So if you need a campaign manager, I am available.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. We'll talk.
Thanks. I'm on the social medias at Jones-Rooy, JonesRooy, and I have a podcast called Behind the Data, where we talk about the data behind all this crap. And data's about to be outlawed, so get in while we can,
Well, you got the circus performers have to fall back on, so you got that. That's still around, I think, especially because even the Soviets had circuses. So Trump, not Trump, Scott. saying Trump so much. Lost my mind. I'm like, Stephen Miller. What do you have to say, JD Vance? So, Scott, what about you? Where can people follow your work?
Well, Scott Blakeman 5 on Instagram. And this Sunday, for those of you in the New York area who would like to fly in from points unknown, I'm doing a solo show called If Not Now, When? Comedy for These Times at the Reverie Room on West 72nd Street in Manhattan. You can check out scottblakeman.com for more information.
Thank you. You all three were great. I hope that we can do this in a camp with free Wi-Fi. That's the hope in the future. Have a great tour, Reem, Andrea, and Scott. It's always great seeing you. We'll take a break.